What's up, friends and professionals? Welcome to the season finale. I know, the last episode of the Modeling Podcast for season 2. And we're going the full circle, man. If you haven't been paying attention and you want to go back into the beginning of the season, it was all about branding, social media, digital marketing. We've evolved through local marketing, realtors, consumer experience, loan process, all the way here to the end, which we'll also find out ends up being the beginning again. So I'm bringing on somebody I look up to tremendously in this industry. This is like a master content creator, Neel Dhingra. If you don't know him, you're not paying attention on social media. I figured what better guest to bring on the finale of season 2 than Neel to talk about social media and CRM and where these things kind of blend or come together. How does this full circle work? So super excited, buckle up and let's rock and roll. Yo, what's up, dude?
Hey, man.
Thanks for hanging today, man. I know that you're super busy. Life's crazy. This industry right now, halfway through the year, is still just wild. So excited to have a conversation with you today, man.
Yeah, likewise, dude. Thanks for having me on. I really always enjoy connecting with you, man.
Well, first, before we talk about social, CRM, content, all that fun stuff, you got a kick-ass event coming up.
Yeah,
I'm really excited about. Why don't you? Is it sold out though? Did it sell out?
It did, yeah. So it's fully sold out. We have this event in Vegas. It's a mastermind, 75 people, real estate, mortgage professionals, Tom Ferry, Brad Lee, Billy Jean, a bunch of other guys, content creators, marketers, and really good audience as well of, top people who are really in this realm of like, hey, I want to do things that are innovative to drive my business forward. So I called the business forward event. I called the event the forward event, which was kind of random. I just was looking for domain names or like what to name the event. I'm like, what should I call this?
Perfect, dude.
And that event, that domain was available. And then I just named the event that. And then it just kind of worked as far as branding goes. But it's going to be really fun. It's going to be an awesome group of people in Vegas. And we'll have a 1 day just a deep dive into marketing and business.
Can't wait, dude. I'm excited to join you there and just chill out and bro out. It'll be fun. Lots of good learning. So thanks for doing that.
Yeah.
So, we've talked before. I've had you on the podcast before. There's a million things we could talk about, from all the things you do on social and content, all this stuff. But where I want to zoom in is really get your perspective and share is, traditional mortgage banking loan officer playbook was develop a CRM, right? So get people's contact information, close loans, and eventually you create this kind of annuity concept, right? You got this book of business that you can farm and call and pull leads from. And so I would love to start off with kind of the question of, what have you done with CRM historically? What are you kind of doing with this concept now of customer relationship management? And then how is this blending into your content strategy? And let's just start there. Let's open it up.
Okay. So, you're right. I've always been told, put every business contact, every person you come in contact with who could possibly benefit, refinance, purchase, whatever, into your CRM. So that way you could continue to follow up with these people. A CRM is only as good as, the data that's being put into it. Mm-hmm. And traditionally people are bad at putting data into CRM because it's another task on top of their normal tasks. Yes. So what I found is like automating that as much as possible has been the key for me. But when I really started to embrace CRM was, as my pipeline grew, I literally would forget, and this is nothing, to say that each client is still super important to me. Every family, every client that we help. But what happens is, as you get to 50 plus transactions, you just can't, things start to blend. I think your mind is at a capacity. And then on top of that, the sales cycle ended up being longer and longer as people are looking for homes for a longer period of time and you forget. So I just need one thing to remind me of the whole conversation, and I'm there. I forgot you, Alec, but I don't remember. But then on that, if I have a note that says, we talked about X, click, the whole conversation is back. I'm there. Mm-hmm. So that's what kind of triggered me of like, I put in every single person in a quick note. And the way I do it is we use Salesforce. Yeah. So I just go to the notes and I voice memo it. So on the mobile app, I click edit and I hit the microphone and I just spoke to Alex today. great family. They're thinking about moving. He's a doctor, whatever, whatever, a few notes. We talked about dogs. We talked about
Exactly.
the Golden Knights, or we talked about baseball, whatever we talked about, just put it in there. So that way it'll jog your memory at a glance, especially if you don't talk to them for months and then now you need to re-engage. So I started doing that. That's a great way to keep in contact. And then what I noticed for me, the real value of social being the CRM is, if you can somehow automate or connect the two to where people who watch your content on social become part of custom audiences that you can remarket to in the future. And also taking your data of leads and clients and everything and uploading that into into Facebook as a custom audience. So that way, when you promote videos, your clients are seeing them on social. So you can hit people where they're at. So I don't know where this came from, but somebody told me meet the customer where they're at.
Yes. Dude.
So let's just meet if they are consuming content on Instagram, they're consuming content on Facebook, they're consuming content on LinkedIn. Let's be there. And then let's not always rely on the algorithm. Let's use some paid media to reach them. And you can do that through custom audiences.
So, hey, Justin, thanks for hanging out, dude. Neel, when was this aha moment for you when, content became a massive part of your strategy, this type of, connection with your customer on digital outside of CRM, but like where they're hanging out? When did you have this aha moment? What was the breakthrough, or what was the what realization?
I just wanted to, I got tired of being lumped in with all the other originators, being just commoditized, right? Or bypassed, as you say. Yeah. I don't want to be just another person because I know I'm better than, I'm not saying I'm better as a human being. I'm saying I'm better at my job than most people in my industry. So I just want to make sure that's known, and I want to do that through content. Justin just another guy killer on content, man.
Dude, another guy who's just leading forward and figuring it out and playing the game, right? And that's the interesting thing. Because I just watched a video that you put out on social about how customers weren't using you, and you're like, what the hell? Like, why didn't you use me for this transaction? Yeah. And it was like, well, we're just not top of mind. We're not in their space. We're not there. And honestly, the CRM playbook of send them a drip campaign or dial these people is lacking the relationship that you're showing.
This is a main point, and I think the industry needs to hear this. These CRM campaigns they designed all the email drips for you. Mm-hmm. Take a look at this shit. Okay. It is bad. Some of this is bad. It's been written years ago. We used to have this thing in Django, which is built in Salesforce, where they have all these drips. Yeah. The drips are horrible. I mean, I don't know who designed or wrote these, but they're like, it's just really cheesy. Yeah. Some of them, I can't tell if it's better than nothing, because some guys say, hey, it's better than not sending anything. But at a certain point, I think it is worse than nothing because it's inauthentic. So if you have the ability to send out custom stuff, that's going to be way better. So what I found is, you talk about CRM, the main goal of CRM is to stay in contact with people so you can generate more business, manage that relationship, right? It's either past clients or new clients, or could be just people that have inquired. So what's the best way to stay top of mind is with relevant content.
Yes.
Something relevant, not just spamming people with, the holidays. Like I get my referral partners, my realtors, they forward me the stuff they get from the lending community. And on many days on a holiday, they get the same email from 5 people, the exact same email from 5 people. And they forward it to me. They're like, dude, look at this. And they laugh, and everyone's laughing like, dude, you guys are using these canned corporate services. So I have this thing on the wall in the office here. It says custom, not corporate. Nice. So let's create custom. Let's be more personal with our content. And you can still scale personal touch. And the best way I found to scale personal touch is through video content.
Well, I got to share a small tangent on my aha moment on this drip campaign crap, because I want to echo what you said. You're right. It's garbage. It's inauthentic. It's written by somebody who doesn't have a relationship with the person. It's just generic stuff that they likely don't even care about. So you're just effectively spamming them. But I'll never forget. So an email got sent out that caused a huge uproar because it went out to everybody on the drip thing. And I was like, what email came out? It was how to avoid a cougar attack. Bro, I'm not joking. Like straight up, like if a cougar is attacking you while you're on a run or something, like, and it had all this technique, and I'm like, what the hell are we doing? Like, by the way, that got tons of actual, like, people actually responded for the first time ever because it was so asinine and stupid. But like, that's a great example of like these people, you're sending out stuff that no one cares about and you're just smashing them with it. And so let's go a little deeper on your comment on scaling personalization, because that's where people I think get struck. Like, well, I can't personally do everything to 5,000 people or 1,000 or 500. So when you say video, et cetera, what best practices are you doing? What are you using?
Yeah. So if you think about where the industry is heading right now, you think about digital first, you think about Quicken, Better Mortgage. I was shocked to see that there's been just this year 5 or 6 new digital mortgage startups that got funded with 10, 20 plus $1 million in seed funding.
Yep.
Over the last 4 years, there's been $35 billion invested into startups within the real estate and the mortgage industry for the direct purpose of reaching out to our clients. They have a ton of money and a ton of resources to put behind this. So they're doing the scale thing. They're going to do that. What can we do that's better than that? It's you. You're the dude. You know your shit. You have advice to share. The guy we brought up earlier, Justin, he's not just talking mortgages, he's talking financial fitness, right? Yep. You can broaden out besides just the mortgage transaction. So how can we stay relevant when somebody only needs you once every 5-7 years? You can't just bombard the sales stuff. So the email that went out in Jungo, one of the emails for Memorial Day, I remember on the 31st of May was, happy Memorial Day. By the way, I'm never too busy for your referrals. Memorial Day is when people die for this country.
Dude, it's just so tasteless.
This is like tone deaf, this kind of shit, So what you want to, like, people are just, the constantly bombarding without giving any value is not going to work. So what works for me is to say, hey, here's some content on what's going on in the market.
Yeah.
So I just researched, like, what are the questions that buyers have? What are the questions sellers have? And they don't necessarily have to be in the market in order to want to learn this. So for example, why do people watch the news a lot, right? News is huge. It's a big form of entertainment, 24-hour news channels everywhere, because they're interested in what's going on. Why do people watch financial news, CNBC? Do you have to watch CNBC because you're going to buy a bunch of stock tomorrow?
Yeah.
You're watching it because it affects your finances, your portfolio, and you just want to know what's going on. So home being your biggest investment, maybe you want to know what's going on with the market. So how can we do that in an innovative way? So what's the question people have right now? When is our home prices too high? Is the bubble? Is this a bubble? Am I overpaying? Right?
Yeah.
So because I have most of my money tied up in my house, or maybe I want to buy another house and I'm worried. Put out a video about this. Well, here's how bubbles work. Here's why this isn't a bubble. Or in my case, I did a video to get more to get more people to watch it. I'll start it in a better way. So my hook is how I would start that beginning part. And I would say, here's the two things to look out for that would tell you that housing prices are too high, or here's what's going to cause this market to pull back.
Right.
Now, when you watch the rest of the video, you'll find that those two conditions are not present. So I believe we're not in a bubble, but this at least gets your attention. Like, okay, here's the things Neel's telling me what I need to look out for. So there's always something going on in the news that you could piggyback off of and give your own take on it and give that to the people, as you can be that guy to deliver that value to your database. And that is what I've found is going to generate more referrals, because that is something that nobody else is doing in your market.
Well, and I don't mean to trivialize it, because what you're doing is significant. But the barrier to what you're doing is not very high. It's taking information that's generally available and packaging it for your community in a way that is thoughtful, that you think matters to them. And that doesn't take any more work than just turning the camera on and spending some time being the expert that you are and just sharing it.
You already have a conversation with people already.
Yeah, exactly. So just film one of those, set it back out.
Yeah. So I think it's just a shift of, like, you're already talking to clients. If somebody were to sit down with you, a friend, okay, and I always tell people this, let's just speak to one person. So if Alec reached out to Neel and said, hey, dude, do you think this prices are too high? Like, should I buy another property or should I just hold off and wait for this thing to pull back? What's my advice going to be to you? That's the video. Speak to that one person, and then you'll help people.
So, experientially, as you've transitioned your business and your CRM and social into this combo, content strategy, what have you experienced? I mean, like even anecdotally, like what has happened? Because everyone, obviously the goal is to build deep relationships, get more leads, get more loans, expand your reach. But like, what would you say and share anecdotally that's happened since you've made this decision and shift?
You just like your job. Anything, right?
By the way, that's so good. Like that's perfect. Like that's the best answer ever.
Yeah, it was the problem with most is people burn out. And yes. I'm not saying I like every single part of the stuff I do every day, but I'm telling you, for the most part, I'm pumped to do what I do now because I'm reaching more people. I'm doing something fun, innovative. I'm getting respect, which is cool. When you don't, so here's what happens. When people don't feel respected or valued for what they're doing, it makes you burnt out, right? Like it makes you feel like shit when you lose business and when people don't treat you properly. So what happens is you can get that respect by just putting out more content. So instead of complaining that, hey, why am I not getting the business? Why are these people, realtors or referral partners treating me like shit? Or why are clients treating me like I'm just any other realtor or lender? Well, it's because they don't know any better. So it's not their fault. They don't know what the difference between you and the next dude is up the street or online. They don't know. So why don't we just tell them, right? And then it's very clear. So for example, if I reach out to you through innovative video for my initial contact, and the other guy just sent a text or an email, he's going to come across as spam. I'm going to come across as genuine. And then that video, you talk about scale. It's hard to shoot a new video every single person.
Sure.
But you can make one and then send that to many people. Yes. And it's still you, it's still relevant. So that's the way to scale the communication on video is just make one video and then, send it out to your database or send it out to clients at the initial start of the transaction.
So Chris has this comment and I want to ask this in a question too. So, he says people get fearful expressing this content, meaning like, is there a bubble? Because those things can seem like, conjecture almost, right? Like, what if you're wrong, Neel? What if your advice isn't right? But he's recognizing that, they're having these conversations every day. So first question is, how do you feel about making comments like that are big industry centric? Do you ever feel insecure? Do you ever feel like, what if I'm wrong?
You do feel like, hey, if I give somebody my opinion, I always do is let's use facts, not emotion. So let's say, okay, what's the supply versus demand, right?
Yep.
That's what's driving prices the most right now. So why is supply constrained? Because builders didn't build enough homes for the last decade.
Yep.
So what would cause prices to crash is either demand would need to fall precipitously or supply would need to increase substantially. It would have to increase.
Exactly.
I don't see the builders catching up that quickly in the next 2-3 years because it takes a long time to build to develop the land, to get the labor, to get all the places in place, to get all the things in place to build a ton of property, right? They're building as fast as they can, and it's still not enough in many markets. So if supply is going to be constrained for the time being, what's the other thing that would cause prices to fall is demand. Now, what are the risks to demand falling off? It's buyer fatigue and it's interest rates spiking. If interest rates go up slowly, that's fine. But if they spike, that's going to cause demand to cool pretty quick.
Yep.
So what's wrong with me putting that in a video?
Exactly.
I just said it to you. I'm not putting my neck out there that I predict that home prices will fall in July 2023. No, I'm not saying that shit. I'm saying here's what you would need to see for prices to fall. This is fact. It's not my opinion. And that way it's going to lead you to say, hey, let's not listen to the noise. Let's look at the facts, and that's going to help us make better financial decisions. When we list, like even anybody who invests in the stock market, they would say, don't get emotional because that's what caused you to sell at the lows and buy at the highs, right? So with real estate, we can just say the same thing. Let's just look at the facts of the market, what's driving prices, and what would cause those conditions to change. Now I can look for those conditions to change. So now if I see rates spike, I can be like, hey, I remember Neel said this might cause demand to cool off. Maybe I'll get a better deal now.
Yep.
I don't know. So you can kind of watch for those things. And then another thing you can say as well is, hey, what would be the effect of lower prices on my payment? Is price or payment more important? I was shocked to find out that if the rate is, for example, 2.9% on a property today, if I wait a year or two and that property is 5% cheaper, but the rate goes up to 4%, I'm paying more per month for that house. Is that more expensive? Like, is that more important to me? So, those are important things to bring to the forefront as well, because people talk about low rates all the time. What does it mean for the average consumer? Make it relevant to that person.
And so, Neel, I want to highlight something you've been saying that to me is this undercurrent of power, of the real energy in this space is, you mentioned Better Mortgage and some of these companies that are coming in, and in these organizations, they have to employ NMLS licensed people. That's the law. They have to have an NMLS license, et cetera. And I had a Better Mortgage deal that we were competing against flow across my desk, and an LE was attached, and I'm looking at this deal. And so I went to Consumer NMLS website, and I dropped the guy's NMLS number in and see who this character is. He's coming after the customer. No joke. A month before this LE, this guy was a dim sum baker. He made dim sum.
Wow.
It was listed on his employment history, like literally on there on the website. And so what Neel's explaining, everybody, that I just hope everyone hears, is as he's sharing personalized content, sharing video, sharing education, sharing knowledge, engaging, he's carving himself into this headspace with the customer of professional, knowledgeable, caring, personable. And the competition that he has, or like that any of us have, they could have been a dim sum baker last month, and they're flinging an LE out, and that's your competition. And that's real. That's real talk. Like that happened. It was just right in your face. And this is what I hope people hear from Neel. This is why I wanted to have you on to talk about is the efforts you're doing. Just they go deeper. They're layered. Yes, a personalized message about something is important, and maybe the customer is seeing it, but it's also building all of this brand with them, all of this connection to you. And I think that to me is this like long game mentality.
Big time. And that thing you brought up about people who are going to be, you're a better quality originator, you have more knowledge to share, you're the local expert versus these call center people, right?
These video popped up, by the way, but keep going.
Yeah. So these people who are in the call center, right? It's kind of like, the thing is they're not going to do that same level of education, and they can't. Those companies can't scale that. So let's lean in where we're different, and they're never going to be able to do that. They don't have people on the ground in the market who have been doing this for a decade. So that's where you can blow them out essentially.
Well, and this is where, by the way, I don't know why your camera turned off, but it's off. This is where what you do and what a lot of great originators are stepping into is it's this long game differentiation. All of a sudden, over time, as you continue to iterate and put out pieces of content and educate, you just leave this person in the dust. And some call center people, I don't want to talk a lot of trash. Some could be super knowledgeable. There's a lot of local loan officers that are super knowledgeable, but they're invisible. They never share it. They never explain it. They never express themselves. And so the consumer doesn't care, doesn't know. We lost Neel for a second, and he's going to log back in. But if any of you aren't following Neel on social, I really encourage people to engage with other people's content. Justin Brown's a great example. These are people who, as they are performing and learning and iterating, you and myself and everyone else can learn alongside it. Because
I don't know what happened there.
It's life. I was just telling them to go follow you on social, and I wanted to kind of ask this question for you too. Is we learn a lot from each other as we're kind of playing in this game. Obviously, I bring you on because I learned a ton from you, and I'm watching how you're playing and speaking to people. And I was encouraging loan officers that are tuning in or listening later. There are great people out there to connect with and follow and learn from, because there's an abundance opportunity here. We all have our own voice in the market. In fact, one thing I want you to speak to, and this is almost not changing gears entirely, but is on that topic of having your own unique voice in the industry and what you bring. You put a post out about how you were being typecast and only delivered certain type of customers. You remember this post?
Yeah.
Dude, I was dying because even when I was originating and I was 23, people weren't sending me seasoned or more like older people. Ageism was, they're like, oh, I give you my young clients, and I was like, okay, like because you're young and
Yeah.
But so in terms of content creation and getting typecast or just, finding your unique voice and unique audience, what would you share on that angle?
So if you feel like you're getting only B paper or you're getting the tough deals while somebody else is getting the A stuff, that's a common complaint I see from new originators. The funny story I was sharing was there was a referral partner that would only send me her Indian clients because I'm Indian, right? So they're like, "Oh, you guys must connect." I'm like, "I don't know." So
it's a big population.
Yeah, it's like I think it's second biggest in the world, but it's just weird. People are weird like that. They're like, "Oh, you connect with this people." I'm really good at connecting people with that. So what you want to do is if you are good at helping it, all types of clients, and you have all these different areas of expertise. Let's just talk about that more. So that way it's not like I have to convince you. You're just going to see it. So this is a good thing that you do. I understand that Alec recruits people for Loan Depot. He's that's part of his gig, but he doesn't actually do it like anybody else, right? He's sharing culture and he's putting out valuable content to the community. And then when people need or thinking of making a shift, they probably just reach out to you, if I'm not mistaken, right? And then they have those conversations because they trust you. So this is the thing. I don't trust recruiters, right?
No.
I don't trust salespeople, but I trust people who educate me. I trust people who bring value. So we are not selling you're not selling Loan Depot. You're selling trust. I'm not selling loans. I'm selling trust. Realtors are not selling homes, they're selling trust. If you trust the people, you'll feel comfortable reaching out to them. You'll feel that they have your best interests at heart. And that's when you're going to reach out to that person. And that's how you smoke everybody in your market. You talk about being competitive. You want the biggest competitive advantage is get the entire market to trust you.
Dude.
And watch what happens to your messages. It's explosive. I cannot keep up with the inbound amount of questions in the DMs and in the emails. We're hiring people every day to help because we can't get enough qualified people to help with this. There's too much lack of trust. And so the people who are trustworthy get all the business. That's why you see the shift of like the top people do all the business. Everybody else struggles. It's the top 50 or top 100 doing all the loans in my market.
Yep.
Because people trust those people and the other people are unknown entities. So scaling trust is what kind of led me to like say, hey, if I know something, I'm going to talk about it. That way I can't complain. I put it out there. You got the best place to do a deal. Don't say that. Just show it.
That's right, dude. So that's so fire. I want to like come back around and really hit the comment because it's 100% fact. Everyone gets stuck on selling their truth or I'm the best or here's my Yelp review or whatever. And when they're not doing it, they're not building trust. When you give freely, when you're actually caring. I mean, so this is the other thing too, Neel, that just kind of reiterates like what you were commenting about me and my leadership and you and doing loans. If I'm bullshitting people, they know. Like if I'm out there just like everything's, it's crap and everyone sees right through it. When you give without expecting anything in return, when you share your knowledge and your expertise and you showcase it, even if you might be wrong or you're sharing your personal view, you create engagement. And that connection is what builds absolutely a bulletproof business.
Yeah, and you can't fake that either, which is kind of like if there's people that do what you do now, like, hey, dude, come on my podcast. And I know the only reason the dude wants me on the podcast because he wants to recruit, So I'm like, I'm tied up, bro. I'm busy. But when you're like, hey, reach out, I genuinely just want to jam and just talk because we're friends, right? So it's like that's the kind of relationships you want. Imagine as a LO, you have that type of open line of communication with hundreds, if not thousands of people in your messenger, in your DMs. Now that once every 7 years seems to be popping up, right? Because not only are those people reaching out to you, everybody in their network. So they overhear somebody, hey, I'm thinking about buying. Oh, you need to talk to my dude, Neel. Hey, do you follow him on social? This dude's, he'll tell you everything. So you need to connect with this guy. And you start to find you're creating like this army of people.
Yep.
These are like evangelists for you. Yeah. They'll like promote you on your behalf because you help them. So even if they're not in the market, they'll send you someone who is. So I found it really starts to build a snowball and you get that momentum and then you'll start to see the results, which then drives you to create more valuable content. Cause now you're like, hey, I got to keep this thing going. Hey, next video better be good because I got to serve these people.
Well, and to your point, you start having fun.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I can tell in your content that you're having fun. Like I can see it, I can feel it in the energy. Like it's work for sure. Of course, you're gonna work somewhere, but you can also feel this like, no, Neel's expressing himself. Like this is genuine. This is fun for him. So let me ask you this question then, because this is a larger thing. But all of a sudden, I lost your video again.
Hold on, I'm gonna come back and on. I don't know why StreamYard does this. Hold on.
All right, I get you. But here's the reality, and I'm gonna have Neel unpack this when he joins back in. When you play this game like this, all of a sudden CRM and customer relationship management and connection starts looking a lot like prospecting and marketing. So Neel, here's my comment. This is why I wanted to end the season on this kind of a concept on CRM and customer relationship, because all of a sudden what we're seeing is Neel's content, his connections, his stuff, all of a sudden starts looking a lot like sales and marketing on this side of the spectrum. All of a sudden, the end of the stuff with his customers he did loans for, he's communicating out with, he's loving on, starts looking a lot like sales and marketing over here when you're trying to originate new loans and new opportunities. And so my question, just to kind of put a bow on this, so to speak, is how much of this customer connection engagement process ends up turning into deals? And are you finding your origination strategies evolving in the sense of like the majority of your business now is coming from content and connection, or what percentage, and that kind of a question versus realtor referral, et cetera?
Yeah. So it's very difficult to track sometimes because let's just say, for example, reach out to me to get started with the process. Yeah. I email you. In that email, my introduction is a video. There's links to more videos, right? I believe that has exponentially increased my conversion. I can't quantify it, but I just know that it got way more, way more business, right? Yeah. So what I'm saying is, like, it's hard to pin, like, hey, did you reach out to me because of social, or did your decision to not check with other people happen because of the content? Or, so you'll definitely get, and I get this all the time. Hey, I've been watching your stuff for a while.
Yes.
And the key is a while, meaning that they didn't just see one video and then reach out to you. So it takes a while to build this trust. So I've been watching your stuff for a while. I have a question for you. I've been watching your stuff for a while. My sister's in the market and she got quoted this. Could you maybe take a look? I don't understand this. Hey, could you advise me on here? Whatever. Are you licensed in my state? You start to get all these directly from the content, but then you also start to, if you leverage content, that's where you're going to get the most amount of business. So I would say that I would attribute all of my success right now to content, because all the people I meet and do business with, it's somehow connected. Every single person in my office here, there's 23 people here, in some way are either here because of content or from somebody who saw the content, right? Yeah. And they're staying with you because of that, because you're innovating, because you're doing new things. So it leads to just relationships at scale, essentially, with clients and with employees and staff. And just give you an example, Alec, like I need help with loan. Like I talked to you, we have a ton of inbound. So you need a loan partner, a guy who's really good at loans, but doesn't necessarily want to do sales, just to partner up. I last week make a post and it says, hey, if you know mortgages and you like helping people, hit me up. I have an amazing opportunity. 6 people message you, and one of them turns out to be really good.
Dude,
hired. You can't. That's we talk about recruiting. I mean,
it's attracting. You're attracting. It's not even recruiting at this point.
Yeah. So then you're just like, when you need someone, it's like, yeah, dude, I've been watching your stuff for years. I would love to hear about this opportunity. So it's going to help with everything that you need help with. So to me, it kind of solves all problems, and I would attribute 90+% of my success to that. The other 10%, I would say, is being able to do the job of originating closed loans, which is no easy task. But without the customer acquisition, I'm dead anyways. Yeah. So if you think about this we talked about those big brands, those online brands.
Yep.
What do they advertise? Push button, get mortgage, push button, get house. Every single marketing thing is, we make a traditionally rough process easy. Mm-hmm. We'll make this easy. Let us reimagine the mortgage process.
Yes.
In reality, it's very similar. Some guys have a better tech stack, but it's going to be the same BS process behind the scenes. Loan Depot does it probably a little better because you have a lot more tech. But at the end of the day, from the customer standpoint, it's going to be the same kind of paperwork along the way. Mm-hmm. So what are they focused on? Customer acquisition.
Yep.
Once you get in there, we all know that 86% of people start the process with somebody, finish the process with somebody because they don't want to redo it. Yep. So if that's the goal, is just to get more clients. How are you going to get more clients? This is the way to do it. And then as long as you can actually fulfill the production, then you'll be fine.
So, Chris, thank you for the comment, dude. You're dead on, dude. By the way, this is another great creator out there doing killer stuff. Let me kind of focus in on this topic as we close down here at the end. Sure. So let's say somebody's getting inspired. Somebody's like, okay, I got to drop the drip bullshit campaign. I got to start creating information for my people, educating, giving them specific personalized content for my customers. But they got all the fear. They got all the fear. Even Chris was kind of mentioning it, like the fearful of it being wrong. What if I say something dumb? What if I do this that I don't like? And you answered a little bit of that with facts and not, opinion. But there's a lot to creating content that people have to get over. They have to get over themselves to a large degree.
Yep.
What's your comment, encouragement for those people like that? Because I know you're leading your team through it and you're coaching others. What do you say to them?
I would say just be a student of this whole thing, right? Subscribe to publications, read stuff from Barry Habib, MBS Highway, financial publications. Just be a student of what's going on, so that way you can be well informed. So any topic that you're going to do a video on, you cannot reach the ceiling of your knowledge within the 1 or 2 minute video. You should be able to talk about this topic at length off the top of your head for 30 minutes. That's what's going to lead you to be comfortable. So you're not feeling like so scripted and stuff, right? We don't have any talking points for today's conversation.
Just the general topic.
Said, hey, do you want to do it? And I just said, okay, let's go. And then we just do it, right? Yep. So we're just talking. That's what makes it work, because you can just talk at length about the topic. So if you're good at that, you're going to be comfortable. Then it's just a matter of getting comfortable on video. And this is where I was having a problem. I knew the information, but as I'm saying it on camera, I'm thinking, do I look dumb? Do I sound dumb? Are the people going to hear me? Are they going to think this is stupid? Did I do it too long? So you're analyzing as the words are coming out. Uh-huh. And then it causes you to not be able to be yourself. Something clicks at some point where you just say, I'm not going to care. And I don't know how to coach people to that point, but I think it's just reps. I believe it's just reps. And at some point you click, you don't care. You just be yourself. And if you're knowledgeable and you can be yourself, it's you win. Now you can do it. And you're like, dude, I'm good on camera, not overthinking it. And this happens to me still to this day. I've done thousands of videos. I was doing something last week and I was in my head because 2 people were in the room with me. And I thought they were looking at me like I got awkward. So I started not doing it my normal way. And then I was like, dude, what am I doing? Like, these guys don't care. Like, just be yourself. And then something clicks and then you just go.
Well, so this is I like Chris's comment here. This is always be a people business. And what Neel's expressing is, you just got to show up and be the person. Like be a person. Like don't just wave the brand of whatever company you're at and punch people in the face. Like be a people that they can connect to, because then you're right. Then the human aspect matters when you're human. And I
don't
do
be the robot. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I want to reiterate and encourage people that Neel's right, in my opinion, that I think it is reps too. I think it is just reps of just, someone's on the screen, you're talking to a camera, you're in a room. It's just reps.
And people have told me, like I tell you probably tell the same thing. You've seen both of us get better over time.
Oh yeah, dude. I went back and watched, I think we did that social collab like a year. Yeah.
Even then, and you were good then, but you're better now, right? Because of reps.
I mean, so I hope everyone hears that from Neel, and I hope everybody goes out and gives you a follow and just kind of understands, because you're leading the way in a lot of stuff you're doing, Neel. It's really awesome to see. And it's just fun to watch also the results. Like, it's fun to hear you be like, oh, this is happening and this is happening, because it's just validating for anybody else that's getting out there and trying it. Like, shit works.
Big time.
Big time. Any final comments to anybody listening, Neel, that you want to throw in there?
Yeah, I would just say, listen to Alec, follow Alec's stuff, because he's leading the way. And the cool thing is you're helping people get over this initial hump. And I think I was with Tom Ferry in a podcast, and I asked him, hey, dude, why don't people do more content?
Yeah.
Is it just lazy? He's like, no, it's not laziness. That might be a little bit, because people are lazy in the industry, but the main thing is just lack of awareness. They just don't know how to do it, where to distribute it, so just watch people who are doing it and just emulate them, copy them. I have found some viral content and I just make my own version of it.
Dude,
put your own spin on it and just do it your way, and it's going to work.
Dude, my aha moment in this, Neel, was, again, my playbook was really succinct in 2003 and 4 when I was just starting. It was go on Thursday and broker preview and meet agents, go out Friday to the broker preview and meet agents, go out Saturday to the open houses, go out Sunday, join the affiliate board, go to all the networking events, all the mixers, and start to call for appointments and try to build relationships. And the frequency that you could get in front of people is the frequency you can build a relationship. The more I can say, hi, I'm Alec, they can learn my name. They can realize I'm not selling them anything and I'm not coming at them as a lender. They're like, oh, this guy's a good dude. And they can make their own opinion and build relationships. And then I go, well, shit, the same thing's possible with a content strategy. Like the same thing. The more I'm out there, the more I'm talking, the more I'm communicating and sharing my personal side and not trying to be a robot. The more that you build this tribe, and Neel was describing it, of like this momentum behind his business is just a gigantic snowball. And it's market immune. I mean, if rates go up and things are hard, it's like, it doesn't matter. You just take more share. You just take more trust. You just take more opportunity. And so Chris actually has a question for you, Neel. Curious, do you agree with meeting your prospective buyers where they are, or do you stay true to what you're trying to attract?
So I think what he's asking, we did talk about meet the consumer where they are by putting out content on social. But I think what he's talking about is more like running ads to capture that business, or just trying to put out content and attract whoever's going to reach out to you. So I do like the latter part, because those are the best type of clients, people who reach out to you warm. Those are warm leads. They're the best. But I do believe that, like, if you're trying to grow an organization, you need more than just warm referrals. You need to actually do some outbound and do some outreach. So my way of doing the outbound is to put out informational content and run it as paid media. And then, like I said earlier, that strategy of custom audiences, people who watch more than X% of the video. So on Facebook, you can say people who watched more than 15 seconds of this video are now part of an audience. And then now I can serve them an ad on, hey, I just read that 78% of homeowners haven't refinanced. This is a travesty in my opinion, because I believe it's a historical opportunity to drop your rate or restructure your debt or do a cash out refi. So if you haven't already done so, reach out to us. We'll help you out. Something really quick and soft like that, but I can do it to people who I already have some sort of rapport with. So then it converts. If you run that ad on its own without this, it doesn't convert. It kind of falls on deaf ears. And then they sometimes just reach out to their previous lender, or you're actually doing the work for other people, which is, I mean, you'll get some deals, but it's so much more effective when you have the trust already going, because now you do that, you're not an unknown entity.
Dude, fire. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole other hour we could talk about in passive content versus directed and outreach content.
And you can combine the two. I'm not saying like be a philanthropist over here and never sell. I'm just saying, like, let's do it in a better way. Let's give some value first and then run the hook,
Well, and look, I don't want to belabor this, but people do want to be sold. They want to be convinced that what they're doing is the right thing. They want to be walked through a process, not manipulatively, not like you're tricking somebody, but I love a good salesperson who's authentic and knows their stuff. Because I don't have a negative slant on salespeople. I don't think salespeople are skeezy. No. I think they're trying to provide solutions and services. So I love somebody who's a master of their craft, who comes up and says, let me go through this process with you. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like, give me the background.
Especially
Tell me what's
if they believe in what they're doing, right?
Yes, and you can feel it. Absolutely.
I mean, how do you think, like, this thing at the event? I'm not into online sales or events. I'm only been doing loans, right? And I'm like, okay, I got to fill these seats. So I got to reach out to people. So I'm reaching out to people like Alec and other people in my sphere, because I want that to be the type of people that come out, people who are really at the forefront of this stuff, because that's going to help with networking. So people reached out, randomly to buy tickets and come out because they're interested in the content and the speakers. But then a lot of it was me reaching out to people.
Weird.
And selling, and not in a sales way, but just being like, yo, this is going to be an awesome event. Here's why. And I think you should be there. I really 100% believe that you would benefit from this. And I think you should come. That's sales. But it's also like, dude, I fully believe in the product I'm selling, and I would love for you to be there. So that's more genuine,
But it also comes down to, Neel, and this is a good point to end on, is just without human connection, that stuff is bullshit. without you putting in time and having this connection and with your customers, and then asking for business or sending out that targeted ad that says, "Hey, call me for this." Without the groundwork, you're just another clickbait, and it doesn't land. It lands on deaf ears.
Yeah.
So, dude, I appreciate you, man. You dropped a ton of knowledge today. Thanks for hanging out with me, dude. I'm really looking forward to seeing you in person and hanging out at your Florida event. That's gonna be amazing. And so, dude, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you for hanging out on the Modeling Podcast. This is the end of season 2. We want to go back in time. We got some great episodes with some great people. Neel, thank you for bringing it home. And we'll see you guys on season 3 and on the internet soon. Take care.